Go. Recording started. All right. Jean
Great.
Barrett, for those in attendance, Jean Barrett is the micro finance go-to person. You might want to share what you do, and then you want to
Okay.
share a few words too.
Yes. Thank you, David. Good evening and welcome everyone to Alterna webinar for our microfinance program. My name is Jean Barrett and I'm the Community Microfinance Credit Officer, and I'm a part of the microfinance team which provides financing to help start or expand your business. Some of you may or may not be familiar with Alterna. We are a financial cooperative that has been around since 1908. We provide financial products and services, and as a credit union, our members are owners. When you open up an account, you purchase a membership share, which means you have a say in how we operate, such as voting for the board of directors and changes to the bylaws. Anyone can be a member. For more information, go to Alterna website at alterna.ca. At Alterna, we believe it takes more than a loan to help you succeed in business. Along with loan capital, you need to access other financial products and services and opportunities to further your knowledge around the business planning. So I'd like to welcome you to our third of four-part webinar session designed to help you at various stages in your business. In this session, you will learn how to increase your sales. Our webinar session will be facilitated by Mr. David Cohen. David is a member of Alterna. He's a business coach, facilitator, author, and former radio show host, the Small Business Big Idea Show 2002 to 2013. David Cohen brings years of experience, contacts, ideas, creativity, and a little tenacity to help you through the challenges of launching a business and successfully. David will introduce you to our guest speaker, sales coach, Patti. And before he does that, just a little bit of housekeeping. Your lines are muted, and the webinar will be recorded tonight. I ask that you hold your questions until the break for Q&A, and at that time you can send your comments and questions through the chat section. David, I'm turning it over to you.
Thanks, Jean. Good job, and nice to hear you tonight on the call. Yeah, really excited about this. Sales is also a specialty for me too, and I love teaching sales, as Patti knows. So welcome everybody to tonight's session. You're going to learn a lot. We're going to take you from the fear of selling to really you're going to become a sales pro by the end of this. I guarantee it. We're gonna learn to have that you can have a sales process and still have fun. We're going to help you get over some of the fears that you've got associated with selling. We'll look at the true skills that you need to sell, and also having the know-how to get out there and succeed. Plus, some time for Q&A, as Jean already alluded to. So let me introduce our guest, Patti Pokorchak, who I am acquainted with. We're colleagues, we're friends, and I just love her. Selling for ultimate success is really what tonight's about, and we have a great teacher in Patti. Have you ever wanted to make sales fun and less scary? Do you wish you could close more deals faster? Have you ever wanted to run a profitable business that suits your lifestyle and you? If you answered yes, you're going to be glad that you're tuning in tonight. Our speaker today has the usual award-winning MBA, author, speaker, blah, blah, blah credentials, but most importantly, Patti brings over 30-plus years of hands-on marketing and sales, helping small business owners grow profitably and properly too, I think, Patti. Patti's motto is to have fun and make money. And if you're not having fun, who cares about the money? She loves to help make your passion profitable with her proven practical advice. And please join me in welcoming Patti, speaker, trainer, coacher, and serial entrepreneur, which means she likes Cheerios, I think. Right, Patti?
Exactly, David. I'm so happy to be here
I,
as a guest of Alternate Savings.
you
I
know,
love credit unions.
I'm really glad you are, and I want to welcome all of our participants tonight, Beth, Elizabeth, Leah, and Nyesha. I look at that, and I'm saying Martha because that's what the name is up on my screen, Nyesha. There's Patti herself, so nice little picture. You get to know who you're listening to tonight. So, Patty, I always like to think, before I look at getting into sales, really mindset's an important factor. So many people have, as you kind of talk about, have that fear of selling, or they don't trust salespeople, or they cringe when they hear that they've got to go out and meet people and speak to people and make cold calls in order to get their business going and make some money. So my first question to you is, how can we get into that right mindset as it relates back to managing the fear of selling or the fear of cold calling?
Good question, David. And to be honest, most people fear what they don't know. And unfortunately, sales is a skill that people think if they can open their mouths and talk that they can sell, and that there's born salespeople, and nothing is further from the truth. I was the most unlikely, shyest geek in the world. I was really a trained programmer, and I sold millions and millions of dollars worth of stuff around the world only because I was curious and caring. That's really my secret, is be curious and caring, be yourself, learn how to sell, because it is a skill, just like marketing is a skill and a talent, and it's something you never stop learning. And it's the more you know, the less you fear. And unfortunately, we've all had dreaded sales experiences, and that is really it's the odd one out. You always remember the bad experiences, but I think, my clients never saw me as a salesperson. I was just Patty that came in and chatted with them. Oh, and then walked out with a big PO because they liked me. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. You don't have to be salesy.
Right. Well, and I've heard that too, that if they like you, then the trust factor is, it's a given. And so you got to work on your likability factor then too, right?
Well, trust takes a while to develop. So you get to know somebody at a networking event. You got that chemistry. It's just kind of like speed dating. And then you set up your coffee meeting or date. And then if it goes further, you uncover, I call it your BBF, your best new business friend. Because you meet somebody, it takes a while to develop the trust. And, before I give you tens of thousands of dollars of money, I want to know, what your credentials are, who else you've worked with, what your results, what your outcomes are. And you get to, it takes a while to develop new friends and acquaintances and take that trust factor further, else you get burned, to be honest.
Yeah. And you always have to be delivering, you can't let up, because with competition out there. And the other thing too, your clients are going, okay, what have you done for me lately? And and prospects are really looking for, what do you got? You're like, what's in it for me? You've really got to be, delivering the goods time and time again when you're working with your clients. You can't
That's
let up.
right. It is all about always adding value. So there's no such thing as a cold call if only if if you're not adding value. That's what people buy. They buy value. So if each time you make a customer or a prospect touch point and you're adding some kind of value, you have a service to offer them that you're pretty sure they need because you've really targeted your ideal client, then you're doing them a service. So,
Right.
so to me, sales is being of service to others.
Oh, totally. And it's a service economy. Even, if you read the late Dr. Stephen Covey, and he talks about being of service to others, right? And it's the servant leader. The leader is the servant. The owner of
Right.
the company is serving others. Um, okay, so we have a real disdain and mistrust around selling. We think back to the Herb Tarlick, check jacket and white shoes, and hey guy, how are you doing? And the old slap on the back. Or, avoid him. He's just trying to sell you, or get you into buying. He's trying to put one over on you. Selling really has gotten a bad rap. Why is that, Patty? And how has selling changed now in 2016? It's a bit more than just that, isn't it?
That's right. The buyer is so much more informed. 20, 30 years ago, there was no internet. You couldn't research online. So a salesperson really was like a walking advertorial. You educated people through seminars and workshops and sales calls. Now, if you get a lead, they've done 50% of their research. So you're not educating them anymore. They know what they want, and they're just kind of you're just on their short list. So what you really have to do, again, getting back to knowing your value, what makes you different, what do you bring to the table, and how can you fulfill their needs?
Right. And you really
That's
got
a
to
huge,
know your stuff. So selling,
yeah, there's no more, what's the word for it? There's no, like, just,
you can't fake
being,
it.
no faking it. Yeah, you got to know your stuff.
Yeah.
But the better you know your stuff, then, you can, one of my examples of that, I was once 10 times more expensive selling a training course. Instead of $1,000 a day, I was charging $10,000.
Mm.
And, but because I knew my value, and I could position it as, we're not apples and apples. He's a lemon, and I was exotic papaya. Of course you pay more for papayas than you do for lemons.
Yeah.
So it's all in knowing your product, knowing the value, and demonstrating it.
So selling's become an art, it sounds like. It blends psychology, product, service knowledge, knowledge of others, knowledge of buying motivations, wanting to serve others, as you alluded to. We both have talked about that. Great communication skills, resiliency, a need to learn and research and be curious about other people, understanding people and knowing how to connect and reach your targeted audience. So to me, Patti, the first step in the sales process that I use is to research. And there's two things here that I need to know. One is I want to understand my business and truly understand how my business actually impacts my clients or prospects in a positive way. This is, you talked about knowing your value. To me, this is about knowing your value. If you know how your business has a positive impact on your clients, then that in and of itself to me is the value. So, or what is it that a client achieves from working with me? That's another way I equate what I do to the value I bring. So speak to us about how we can come to really get our own worth and value, how we can get to that and be able to communicate that, Patti, in our sales conversations and marketing materials too.
Yeah, that's a great question. Value is where I start with most of my coaching clients, because it's the hardest thing for most people to actually articulate, and you have to know your numbers. People love numbers and results. And I say, unlike mutual funds, is my past performance is a really good indicator of my future performance. So I have something I call my brag sheet, and it's a list of all my clients' results of what they've achieved in working together with me. Like, I have a concrete example of a client was negotiating a fairly large contract for $30,000 to $50,000. Well, she got $50,000 instead of the $30,000 she originally was going to go in with. So that's $20,000 more, and just in one contract. I mean, that's pretty significant. Where, that's I don't charge that much. I feel like I'm undervalued, because she made a lot more money on that deal than I did. But it shows what I've done with others, and then I have other ones where other results could be doubling their sales to a healthy 6 figures in 1 year, closing 3 contracts in the first week we worked together after an intense Kickstart program, doubling, winning contracts when they're the highest bidder. Like, I get so excited, because I know I can sell, you can sell, David. It's transferring our knowledge and experience to others and seeing them grow, because it's not rocket science once you know how to sell, and it's a never-ending process, I have to admit. The more you can research and learn about selling, because every person you try to, in quotes here, I'm doing air quotes, sell to, I actually believe you help people buy from you, but the people you sell to, they're all different. So there is no one-size-fits-all. You can script opening questions, but you can't script their answers and how you respond to them.
Right.
So knowing the value is really talking to your clients and go, what did you get out of our working together? How did it work for you? How much money did you make? I mean, I always, when people say, oh, I got great value out of that workshop and working with this coach, I go, well, how much more money did you make than you spent? And they go, oh, is that how it works? Oops. They might have invested $10,000 in a coach and got nothing out of it, to be honest, nothing concrete, like you can put in Alterna Savings Bank, for example. You know, I mean, that to me is what counts.
Yeah.
It's what money you actually putting in a bank account, because nothing else really counts. I mean, we're business people first and foremost. If you're not making money, you have a hobby. And that's why I focus on profitable sales.
Yeah.
And profit is not a bad thing to do, because you can't be around next year to support your clients if you're not making money.
Yeah. Yeah. Return on investment. Are you making money? Are you closing deals? Are you getting the results you want? Are you getting the lifestyle you want? You know, those are all important factors. So, you
Yeah,
know,
to know your value really is talking to your clients and benchmarking it. Even for people like a personal trainer or an image consultant, you can actually, subjective, you can say on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about yourself today? Beginning to work with me, and you say, oh, well, I got low self-esteem, so I'm a 1. And 3 months in, you say, well, how do you feel about yourself? And you go, hey, I'm like a 4 or a 5. And then 6 months in, you go, hey, I'm a 6 or a 7. And that's subjective, but it's how how a person feels about themselves is the only way you can really, I mean, how do you measure a life coach's effectiveness? You know, the marriage didn't break up, or the marriage did break up, whatever is, applicable. But everybody, once you get in the mindset of looking for numbers, for benchmarks, you can do that for just about anything.
well, I like what you said, that you keep a record and a diary of your successes, right? And really, that's what the customer is looking for. They want to know, like, what have you done? What can you do for us? How can you help us, right?
Well, the great thing, David, is that you and I can talk about how great salespeople we are, but it's our client successes that will convince others, because it's testimonials, it's referrals. We haven't done this. It's like, don't listen to me, I'm the salesperson, but look at what my clients' successes have looked like. And it's on my website. I take it to trade shows. It's my brag sheet. I'm proud of that. Because it's not me, it's my clients.
Right. What about, again, positioning, the idea of positioning, being in that proper sort of, mindset. There's a really, we want to position ourselves in the minds of our clients that we're the expert, we're the advisor or consultant. Talk to us a little bit about that, going into a client. And, I was just talking to somebody today. I was doing some coaching today with a young woman, and she's got a line of beauty products, okay? And the client is telling her, look, we're not going to pay for it. We want your stuff on consignment. And I said, really? Like, you're selling like $3 or $4 bars of soap, and you're going to sell that on consignment? That's a lot of chasing around and running around just to make your money. I said, you got to stand up. You got to, be in charge here, because the animals are running the asylum. I said, you got to say, look, client, I'd love to do that. It's not profitable for us. Our minimum order, try 12 bars. It's $36. I'm not going to sell that on consignment. Buy it, and I'll tell you what I will do is I'll check back with you in a couple months. If you got any left over, I'll buy that back, but pay for it, right? So talk to us about, positioning ourselves in the minds of our customers or prospects as that trusted advisor or consultant.
Oh, that's such an important part. A lot of our success is due to our self-confidence, our self-esteem, is what we think of ourselves. And the more we can, I say it's be your own best cheerleader, is be really clear and confident in your value and what you expect. And in that case, you want the shop to have some skin in the game, or else how motivated are they to sell stuff on consignment? They're not. But if they bought something and they have to make a profit, or else it's a write-off, then they'll be very motivated. And giving that, I'll come back in 2 months and buy what hasn't been sold, yeah, that's a good safeguard. But you want them to make money, so you want to say, hey, if you really believe in my product, no, I don't work that way.
Yeah.
And so that's where self-confidence and self-esteem from the seller has to be there. When you think about it, nobody wants to hire the second best or third best kind of product or consultant. Nobody wants a humble consultant, as Alan Weiss, one of my mentors, says. Everybody wants the world's best. So you got to position yourself as the best in your field, and that's how you become a trusted advisor. When you stop being a commodity, stop trading, dollars for hours, and go on retainer and become their trusted advisor. You're on call, you got a crisis, call me. It's like if you want the world's best, you got to pay for it.
Yeah, I agree. And that's a shift in our mindset too, where we want to serve. We want to be solutions and ideas focused for our clients, not just putting the emphasis on, I got to get the sale, right? But on actually serving the customer so that they come back time and time again. What's your take on, that kind of a shift? I think you've already alluded to it already, but anything else to add on that?
You want everybody to be partners. To me, business should be a four-way win. It should be a win for the company, a win for the employees, a win for the customer, and a win for the suppliers. So everybody has to win, because if you screw one of those, you don't have I don't want to say the T word, Trump, but you'll have a business that is not sustainable and not a happy place to be.
Right.
Because if you screw your supplier, you know that they're not going to, if they have a chance to deal with the shop next door, they will, because there's no loyalty, because you haven't shown loyalty.
Right.
So you want them to be partners.
And mess with yourself, like if you aren't taking care of your bottom line, you're not going to be around very long. And then, of course, you have to take care of your customer too, right?
Yeah, so you got to figure out what's the win-win-win-win-win for everyone involved. It's a good deal for the clients because they're getting the best product that you can do, and you've got somebody who is committed to your product, has fallen in love with you, and that's the whole thing. I think there's the beauty, or what made me so successful is I'm really likable. People like me, and people don't like to say no, but you have to first develop that relationship. And I think what I got really good at is getting to know people. And the funny thing, selling is listening. If you want to close more business, ask better questions. That's the key.
Yeah, we're gonna dive into that a bit.
Okay.
So let's dig in, okay?
Okay.
So, knowing thyself, knowing thy values. So this is a little case study I wanted to share with you, okay? I was working with a home stager, right? And she came in crying. This is back in that last recession in 2008. And she said, man, I'm not getting a sale. Everything's dried up. Nobody's responding to me. And I asked her, I said, her name is Deborah. I said, Deborah, so what's your messaging? She said, well, I'm just calling real estate agents up saying, I do really good work, and, I'd like to meet them and show them what I can do for them and see if we can work together. And I said, really? What's in it for the customer? And she said, well, nothing really. And I said, well, you got to really get clear. So what we did is we sat down together, went online, and we went to Google News. So this is for everybody on the call tonight. And we looked up home staging in Google News. And we found an article that said that homes that were being staged, even in this economy, were getting 9% more in the resale value of the house, and they were selling faster. And I said, Deborah, you got to use this in your messaging. And she did. She used it verbatim pretty well. And so she called a real estate agent up and said, hey, Joe, it's Deborah from XYZ Home Staging. Studies are showing, research is still showing that even in this crazy economy we're in, that homes that are staged are getting 9% more in the resale value of the house, and they're selling faster. If that's a result, that's the value that you want, I love to help you get that, right? And we do great work. I wonder if we can, get together and help you get those results. How's next Tuesday at 2? So what do you think of that?
Perfect. It's a numbers thing. It's showing the return on investment. It's powerful. It's objective. It's not her saying it. It's a beauty. It's 9%. What does it cost to, $1 million home? What's 9% is what, $90,000?
Yeah, in the real estate agent's pocket,
Yeah. And they're not charging anywhere close to that. Staging is what, $5,000 usually?
Yeah. So
the return on investment is phenomenal.
Exactly. So, not one real estate agent is going to say no to that offer,
Yeah. Well, she can up her fees to $9,000, and it's only 10% of their expected profit. So that's a no-brainer.
Right.
So she can double her fee and make and sell a lot easier too.
Yeah. Now, do you have a case study on, with somebody that you worked with where they really know their value and their worth and how that's influenced the sale?
Yeah, I have a client called Lightcore, and I've been working. I knew them for 9 months, and I used to go to a networking group, and Sharon would sit there and go, "Yeah, we help companies achieve 150 to kind of 400% ROI on our stuff." And she would say it with that kind of enthusiasm, like, "Well, we do this incredible work." And it's like, oh, yeah, it sounds like it. Like it was just so low key. And she really didn't know how to articulate. They took a company from 100 million to 175 million after it had been stagnated at 100 million for 12 years. And within 2 years of working with them, they added 75 million to their top line and doubled their profits. So when we looked at what they truly do is they help CEOs lead smarter. And once they were able to articulate it, then now people get what they do. And it's easy, and they closed 3 sales that first week I was working with them, which was, they thought the sales were stalled, they were gone, they were never going to come through. Once they learned a bit how to articulate their value, and that they need those numbers and their case studies to show others that that's the kind of work, and they just need to really beat their own, toot their own horn and say, hey, these are phenomenal results. We can do that for any size company.
Wow. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So
I know.
I have an exercise for people on the call tonight. I'm going to make you work. And that's to work on your value proposition. Have you seen this model before, Patty?
Yes, I start with this because if you don't know your ideal client, you're just shooting, you're using the shotgun instead of the laser rifle, and it's just nobody has the time or patience to put up with a generalist anymore. You have to niche.
Yeah, I always equate, going after, like, it's like spray hitting in baseball. You're all over the field. Whereas, what you want is one swing of the bat and it's going to be a home run out of the park, right?
Oh, for sure, yes.
Or
But the thing is, when you know who you help, then it's never a cold call because you're helping that person. Whether they want your help or not is up to them. But like I used to sell boring barcode systems that manage assets. PCs, desks, chairs, whatever you could put a barcode on. So I knew every purchasing manager was my target because I helped them. My competition at the time was pen and pencil and a summer student doing an asset inventory. So any financial people will get this. Fixed asset inventory is boring as hell. And we had this automated, high-tech solution. So every purchasing manager I spoke to or finance who was in charge of fixed asset, they welcomed me with open arms once we got established and had a few reference accounts. And then it was just like dominoes. We were unstoppable. We barcoded every asset in practically the whole federal government across Canada. So
I want people on the call to work on their value proposition. So is that cool? Gene, that means you too.
Who's your ideal client?
Yeah.
I hope they're on this call too.
So this is a formula actually that was developed by Alex Osterwalder, author of the, oh man, he invented the business model canvas, okay? And basically what I want everybody on the call to work on is who do you work with? So who's that ideal client or customer or target audience? Who do you want to work with? And what's their key challenge or pain that they struggle with? And then what have you developed? What service or product offering have you developed to help someone overcome that challenge or pain? And what's the key benefit or positive outcome or outcomes for the client? What do they get from using you? And you got to dig deep, not just, well, we saved the money. Go deeper than that. So take maybe about a couple minutes just to work on this. Is that cool, Patty?
Yeah, that's good. Yes.
All right.
I mean, we could. So are we just taking a break now?
Yeah, they're going to work on this for a sec.
Okay. It's key, and this is kind of their elevator pitch too, in a way.
Yeah, I put this on my website, my sales letters, my marketing material, and you could use that, yeah, for sure, as an
Yeah.
elevator pitch.
Well, I always say you do what for whom, for what benefit is my kind of shortcut.
Right.
And this is really, yeah. And niching it as much as you can, then you're talking their language.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like they're talking to you because they know my pain.
I know. Are you talking to me? It's like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe you work with businesswomen who, I know Naisha's on the call. She's a beautiful clothing designer, by the way. So she works with, corporate women, businesswomen who struggle with finding the time and motivation to go shopping. So she will do custom designs. She'll maybe go to you, or you can go to her place. And she's developed a beautiful line of clothing that her clients feel beautiful and positive and confident in. So that's
wonderful.
That's a nice value proposition. I kind of wrote it for you, Naisha. So take maybe another minute on this, people.
Yeah.
This is really important.
Does anybody want to share? Maybe we can open up to.
Yeah. Gina,
yeah.
are you okay if I open the lines? Because there's only a few people.
Oh, certainly. Go ahead, David.
Okay. Did you write yours, Jean?
I'm working on mine right now.
All right. So I'm going to open the lines. Everybody keep your background noise down. That means, the dog can't bark. I've had that on a call. All right. So I've unmuted. Leah, well, some of you are muted, but Beth, do you want to share? Oh, Beth doesn't have a mic. Okay.
Oh.
Anybody else want to share? Jean, do you have one?
A value proposition?
Yeah.
I think mine would be, I think listening more. I think that would add value to someone, just to sit down and listen to what they have to say, and, rather than be talking so much, because I think when you listen, you really get some good information, and then that good information sort of could plot your chart to what you need to do next.
All right, so you're going to work with entrepreneurs who are coming to you looking for financing, but you're really going to listen to what they really want and help them develop a sound sort of financial plan in and around their business, right?
Yes.
Okay. I like that.
You can ask better questions and actively listen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's great. Instead of just what do they call it? The show up and throw up. If somebody comes to you and they say do a pitch, and people just, as we say, show up and throw up, and it's like, I have 10 things to offer you, and you're only interested in one or two. Don't bore people with those other 8. They're just not interested. So first find out what they're interested in, and then pitch that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really important. I hate being bored.
I know.
Keep cardinal sin in anything. Don't bore people. They don't want to do business. If you can make them laugh, you can make them work with you too.
So this is also a little bit like, what you would say if you are maybe making a prospecting call. So, hey, Joe, we work with companies like yourself who struggle with, and what we've developed is this, and the results we're getting are, an increase in home sales, or you're getting 9% more on the resale value of the house, right? So if that's a result that you'd like for yourself, I'd love to meet with you. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, so for those on the call, work on your value propositions. Know thyself. And that's really what it's about. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. It's also the beginning of sales success. Would you agree with that, Patti?
Oh, totally. Yeah. The better you know yourself. It's called emotional intelligence, and it's the key differentiation now that even techie people have to be more better communicators. No matter what you are, you're a communicator.
Yes. The next step is know thy client. So again, research and doing the homework, finding out about where the clients are at. You know, where do we begin to look then, Patti, to see what's going on for our clients, to see what's challenging them, or what fears or concerns they have? Where would we begin to look for that kind of research?
Well, you know, libraries used to be the place. You used to go to like Scott's Directory and look up things. Now with the internet, you can go to Scott's Directory online. You can go to LinkedIn, use Twitter, so you can start following the people you want to work with and start listening to them and see what they share. What are they looking for? You can set up Google alerts for certain things that, you know, entrepreneurs looking for business coaches. It's like the internet is just there's so much information that you kind of have to make a limit to how much research you do before you get into the analysis paralysis. But figure out, I like to say, is who do you want to work with? I mean, the beauty of being an entrepreneur is you get to choose your clients. And I think the more you like your clients, the easier it gets for both sides. I don't ever recommend working with somebody you don't like, because that sucks.
Yeah.
and
And it's not going to go well.
No, it's not. It's not. If you don't like them, then let them loose. Like, there's certain people that I find just too boring, and I know they need my help, but it's like, oh, you would bore me to tears. I can't. You know, I just run.
Right.
So work with a niche. Like when somebody says, I want to do marketing, it's, well, but what marketing and what? Like sports marketing, entertainment marketing, fashion, you know, is it B2B, B2C? Figure out what your interest is in, then go for that. And there's usually something that, you know, you have a hobby that, you know, you've always played sports, so sports marketing is ideal. I mean, I barely know my teams of what sports are, so it's not for me. So it's knowing yourself, knowing what you're interested in, and that just leads to success, either getting a job or getting the right clients.
Right. And you know, yeah, so knowing your clients can really pay off in terms of great selling results, can't it?
Well,
Knowing
they
what they
can't.
want, what their needs are, their hopes and goals and challenges are, right?
Well, it also helps define I believe in asking for what you want. And if you want to have clients within a sports thing, you just, everyone you talk to is, who do you know who works in that field? And you're very specific. Because if you say, hey, who do you know needs some marketing? It's like, well, I don't know anybody. When you say, who do you know in this industry? It's like, oh, well, Joe, my neighbor, or, you know, my brother, or, because you have to be specific, because the world's so big and so small at the same time.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm going to show another graphic on this slide. We talked about knowing your client, right? Your ideal client. So, you know, when you see the guy on the left, what comes to mind? Patti and Jean and those on the call, if you want to type out your answers or unmute yourself, you can.
I was going to say, is he single?
Single.
He's
I don't
happy.
know.
Is he retired?
Yeah. He looks happy. He looks successful.
He does.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
I think he's an executive, and probably starting as, you know, it could be a VC.
right. So now you're creating a customer profile, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got like, oh, that guy, that's my ideal client, right? And I want to work with somebody like that. What about the kids in the middle? What do you think's going on in their world?
Well, they're trying to find their first job.
Yeah, finding their first job.
They're confused. They don't know where to go, and they're saying, I want a job in marketing, and then it's saying, they'll figure out what kind of marketing you want to do and what industry. So,
right. Could be, you know, don't
They look
smoke.
pretty happy. They're sitting outside. It could be the end of school, and they're all happy.
Yes. What about the woman on the right? She looks happy.
She looks happy. A grandmother, probably 3 grandkids.
Yeah.
A good
so she's
enjoying life.
Dressed and Facebooking and yeah, doing volunteer work probably.
Yeah. All right. What about the guy on the left in the construction hat?
Trades.
The same, but he looks like he enjoys the job that he's doing. He looks pretty happy. Looks like he likes going to work. This is what he wanted to do. That's his plan, and
yeah.
pretty healthy and happy. I'd agree with that. Yeah.
I would too. What about the woman in the middle? That looks like me at dinner time without the curls.
Oh, with the apron?
Yeah.
To see that. She's a mompreneur, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the kids at school. She's trying to pretend she's like a food blogger, I think, a lifestyle food blogger.
But busy, overworked, overwhelmed. She's got dishes in the sink. You see that?
Yeah, yeah, that's okay. But she's creating something on the stove.
Right,
She's
but
got,
what would she need? She's going to need extra hands, help around the
Mhm.
house, right? Maybe,
Yeah, she's probably got an Etsy store of some sort, maybe.
yeah, or meals delivered to her home.
Yeah,
And what about the
yeah,
couple on the right?
Newly married,
Yeah,
moved into their
totally.
first home,
yeah,
Yep,
just
totally.
happy.
happy in love. But when you kind of get a picture in your mind's eye about who your ideal client is, you can then kind of almost create products and services and solutions to meet their needs, right?
Totally. Yeah.
That's why I posted this for those on the call tonight is get a really clear picture of your client. You know, start developing your ideal client list and profile. So Patty, what goes into determining who your ideal client is?
Well, it's typical as demographics, is their age, their interests, where do they live, what do they do, what do they look like, what's their family. As much if you can define your ideal, like it's an avatar is how we call it, is what do they look like? What are they, female or male? Are they, what's their age groups? Are they 35 to 55? Male, female? Are they married? Are they business people? So there's just, the more you get to know, I'm a big one, I guess you can tell, big one on asking questions. So just ask away. Who have you sold to and who have you liked selling to? And that helps determine.
Right. What factors need to be present to say, yeah, that's the kind of client segment I want to approach?
Um, Instinct, your gut. You will know when you're excited, enthusiastic, and talk. Like I said, your BBF, your next business best friend. You will just know that you enjoy their energy, your energy together. The chemistry just syncs. It's a give situation where you just feel good being with that person and helping them.
All right. I love it. Let's open up the call to questions. Anybody have any questions at all? Any of the participants, if you want to write them down? We've got a shy group.
Well, we've got the Facebook group, and anybody can connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn. I'm happy to answer questions or set up a call even just to answer questions that way.
Excellent.
We're giving them tons of information, David. It's like,
I
woo!
know. We got about 15 minutes left. So let's get out there. What are some methods that you like and coach your clients on, Patty, in terms of, connecting with clients? Like, what do you like?
Well, the best thing is to ask for referrals. Like sometimes I even have it in my contracts that, maybe if I give them a deal on my coaching fee, part of the give or the get from them is they will refer me to three colleagues or friends that they have. So I make that part of the contract. So referrals are the best thing. Word of mouth is not. There's nothing better than saying, "Hey, Joe, David is amazing business coach, and you're struggling, so talk to David," and that's the best referrals. So it's never a cold call. Like I said, when you know your ideal client, how you help them, how you add value, it's never a cold call. So it's figuring out your ideal, avatar and who you want to work with in what industry. Then it's just a matter of doing research on, there's Zoom info, there's, of course, LinkedIn is huge, just to find out and start connecting through. I kind of like reaching out in LinkedIn and connecting. If you put out a personalized request and they accept, then you can say, hey, I help people like you do this. Are you interested? And then, if they ignore you, well, then you can try calling and just say and have a value added message. I help, like your value proposition. I believe in the email and voicemail combination, and just keep dripping at them. Don't give up. Just be persistent.
Yeah.
And
Patty,
until they say, yeah.
I do have a question from Beth, and
Okay.
her question is, how do you set up a warm call?
How do you set up a warm call? Well, you can set up, like, just send an email, and it's relatively easy to find people's email or connect through LinkedIn, and suggest a couple of times that's convenient. People tend to want to have calls preset now, through email or a text,
I,
just
I,
because
I
people are
I
so
think
busy.
I have a different answer a little bit, Patty. Like a warm call to me is like you kind of have had contact with someone. So I like what you just said about asking for referrals. And I think if you get a referral, that's a warm call because the person sort of knows who gave you the referral, and the person that gave you the referral kind of knows that the person that you're going to call or approach has a need, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's referral. I'm in the process of writing referral emails for my clients for them to pass on to the people who promise them referrals. So you make it easy for the person. So you say, here, send this to 3 of your contacts. It's like, David has helped me, or Patty has helped me, double my business. You should talk to her. So you do an e-intro via email, and then it's up to the 2 people to connect further. And that tends to work fairly. So it's really not the warm call just follows naturally. Like, what's a good time to chat? What time's good for you? Um, so you just take it from there. And if they had that e-intro, don't hesitate to call and
Right.
leave a message.
Also like networking as well, Beth. Like, when you meet somebody at a networking event and you agree to sort of meet for coffee after. Do you like that too, Patty? Or is that a,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
big way for you?
Oh, for sure. I think you always want to keep like, relationships take time to develop. Like, they're just not instant. I've never. It's rare to sell a 4 or 5 figure contract just on meeting somebody at a networking event. It's just it's like I said, it was more like speed dating, where you say, like, oh, there's a click there, there's some chemistry. You what you do is interesting to me, so let's chat.
Yeah.
Um, Persistent, I think, is the key. Is don't give up too soon. Try 4, 5, 10 times. Every week. Just, again, have something of value to offer them that shows your expertise, and
Right.
keep it short, 10, 15 seconds.
And also, just to answer, a little further on Beth's question, you know, try and build the relationship ahead of time before you actually meet. So networking, referrals, that Patty alluded to, and also this next slide too. Use your social media strategically to build your, your I guess position yourself as that thought leader, that go-to person, that expert. I just wanted to share this, Patty, and get little discussion on it. Social selling. So this is selling using social media. And before sales executives begin to operate on their social selling strategy, they need to understand the anatomy of B2B decision makers to understand how to reach them and become part of a sales conversation. So 81% of communities, 81% use communities and blogs as ways to reach the decision maker. 74% use LinkedIn as a way to network and connect ahead of time, right? And 42% use Twitter. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, social media or social selling and on social media, really, you really get to start knowing somebody. And again, it can take 3 to 6 months till you get to see some of their personality. I think what I've been guilty of is being more too business focused and not enough sharing my personal quirks and likes and stuff. And but you really want, again, like when I said, people buy from people they know, like, and trust, and they get to know and like you through social media and what you share. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, be
Yeah.
mindful of the content you're putting out, right?
Yeah. Cold calling's not dead. I had a client get a
Okay,
deal
yeah,
last.
that's what I want. You read it. Is it dead?
Yeah. No, it's not dead. It's just you got to be better prepped. You gotta, you maybe used to get 10% callbacks. Now, if you're lucky, if you get 5%, it's a long shot, and that's why you need to have warm calls where you know your value to the right market, so it's no longer cold calling. It's to me, a warm call is knowing that you can help people.
Right. I have a few strategies I just wanted to share and get your feedback. In Beth, this answers your question too about warm calling. Um, she also asked, Beth asks, if you can track visitors to your website, is it okay to give them a cold call? Um,
Sure.
yeah,
I would, they say is respond to the client the way they contacted you. If they call you, call them back. If they email you, and to me, web is more email, online, I would tweet at them. You can send them a direct message if you follow them on Twitter. So do it online at first. So
right.
I'm a bit disturbed when people call me out of the blue before exchanging emails.
Yeah, but I was on let's say you're on someone's website. Let's say you go to Beth's website and she's got a drop-down menu and, asking you to sign up for our newsletter or sign up for information. That to me, I think then you've got the go-ahead. Somebody gave you permission to get in touch with them, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I,
It's
I, I like I like
yeah.
using networking as a way to warm up the call a little bit and social media, asking for referrals. What about speaking and writing as a way to, get some warm leads?
Yeah, speaking is great. Then you're like one to many, much as like we're doing this webinar, just kind of virtual speaking. But yeah, speaking is huge. People can see your expertise on, up on stage. Writing content is king. That's how you really, the more you write, the more you'll be seen as a thought leader. And I like snail mail again because it's so rare these days. So
Yeah,
having a
direct
good
mail.
postcard
Yeah,
campaign is a great thing.
yeah,
And, and it's relatively, I mean, it's very targeted. You don't have to do it at 10,000. You just have to do 10 a day every day, and you'll be surprised.
yeah. And, cold calling, direct mail. I like that too. Beth also adds that, what did she write there, Beth? She added something. She said, following them on Twitter is a great idea. Thanks. So um, another thing
And,
you can do
and
on
just
social media is even on Twitter or Facebook is announce to the world at large that you're going to have a Twitter party or a Facebook party where you're going to be on Facebook or on Twitter for an hour where you'll just answer anybody's questions about what it is you do.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love Twitter chats. They're fun. They're a lot
Yeah,
of fun. And the key to social media is called social. You can't automate it totally. So when you're following something, um, you're following somebody, share their information, comment, and add some value. When you don't just say great article, say this is a good article because it explains why cold calls are not dead. So
right,
always add some value to your share, and don't just dump your stuff on people.
right.
Eat up the. Ooh.
Okay, sounds good. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
another question from Beth. Okay, Beth's pretty prolific tonight, I have to tell you. Thanks. Her last question is, how do you ask for referrals?
Uh, just Google referral letter from Do It Marketing is one way. David Newman's another one of my sort of mentors I look up to. It's you ask for it, but you get, like I say, you give them like a template to say, please send this to your clients. I'm referring Beth because she's so amazing at doing this. You will highly value your time spent talking to Beth. Like you give them a bit of a format of what to send to their referees, right?
Yes.
So make it easy for them. So that's what I'm saying. Send them a template, one or two sentences of what they can send to their friends and family and colleagues and people they want to refer you to. So you need to provide them with that ammunition.
Right. All right. So let's heat up the cold call a little bit. This is an opening statement. This is a methodology I use, Patti.
Uh-huh.
And for those on the call, you might want to write these points down and work on it. And it's basically I greet the prospect or customer like hi Joe, right? And then I state who I am. I'm David Cohen. I'm with the Boomer Business Coach. What we do is we help boomers in career transition who want to go into business. We help them start that business successfully. And we offer, creative growth strategies to help their businesses grow and grow fast. Does that something that you'd like for your business and for yourself? If so, then I'd like to talk to you next Tuesday at 2 to see about how we can help you get there. So what do you think?
That sounds great. Yeah, you're giving people a reason, like it's a yes or no. Are you interested or not? And that's all you want is a yes or no. The maybes are time wasters. So if they're interested, I think that's great. You just want you don't want to tease them a little and just say, hey, yeah, great.
All right. So for those on the call, if you want to write that down, this is a good way and good way to structure what you're going to say to somebody on the phone, because studies showing you only have 10 seconds on the phone, and this will keep you at about 10 seconds. All right, we got to get moving with velocity because we're almost at 8 o'clock, and we've got a little bit of ground to cover. So, Patti, now we're in the door, hopefully, with our good cold call abilities, and warming up the call and using referrals and networking and schmoozing and all that stuff. That first meeting, what needs to happen?
It's information gathering. So again, don't show up and throw up. It's go there, having researched the person you're meeting with, the company, the industry. You know what you suspect their pain issues might be. See what information, intel you can source out of the internet. Do you know anybody at that company? How did you get in? Like, just find out as much information as you can. In front of the decision maker is like, okay, so how can I help you? Tell me what your concerns are. Ask open-ended questions, and shut up and listen.
Yeah,
Take notes.
Yeah,
yeah.
Just ask really good. I just go in with a pad of paper. I don't even have an agenda when I go in. I just want to know about that client and where they're at, and what do they need.
If I can't help, who can I tell them? Who can I refer them?
Yeah.
And if I can help them, but there is priority number 3, it's coming next year, can I call them back in 6 months,
Right. And then you want to maintain that relationship, because truthfully, you might meet somebody and they might not be ready then and there, but maybe 6 months from now, as you just alluded to, they might be ready to buy, right? All right, so I've gone in, I've met the client, we've determined that we'd like to work together, we'd like to go on that second date.
Yeah.
Right? We've asked questions. We kind of have a feeling of where they're at, what they want, what they need. What I do is I go back and I work on a proposal or presentation. What goes into a good presentation?
Not much. I would say as little as possible. As little as possible. Don't. I've seen people work for weeks on a proposal, and it really is a waste. I don't know, unless you're doing, like, you're building a 100-floor commercial building, an office building. It doesn't. 2 pages, 3 pages. Keep it short. Keep it simple. Recap the issues and recap the benefits of working together and what the solution is and how you're going to do it. And then keep the pricing as simple as possible. Remember, always start high, because you can go down, but you can't go back up. Mm-hmm. So whatever your proposal is, and usually it's for people to have a service, is what I'm talking about, is, know your value, price it with 20 to 30% overhead of things, scope creep as I call it, and that's probably a fair price. And then be open to negotiating, but always get something. If you give up on price, what are they going to take out of your proposal? Right. So just keep it simple. Always be selling until the contract is actually signed and you got the deposit. You're always in sell mode. So just repeat the benefits.
Yeah. Again, the solutions, the benefits, the ideas. What if they say no? How do we overcome those dreaded objections?
Well, no means next opportunity, first of all, so never take it personal.
Okay.
But no means you ask another question, which is why? Why? Feel like a 3-year-old. Why, Mommy? Why? It's like maybe they didn't understand your proposal. Maybe they think it's, you're charging them $100,000 a month when it's $100,000 for the project. So you say, well, why? What? I thought, you have this problem. I have the solution. Why are you saying no? And it's really asking for clarification, because it's just like maybe they misheard, maybe they misunderstood. Yeah, they may want to negotiate. They say, yeah, we don't really, how much money do you have? And if it's suitable, then you'll take it. I mean, that's, negotiating always. If you give up something, what are they going to take out of your proposal, or what else can they add on that doesn't cost them money, like referrals or an opportunity to talk at an association? You want something that's of value to you.
And you can
Never
negotiate a
compromise.
close too, right? Look at, Joe, I can't do it at that price, but I can do it at this. Would that be okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everything's negotiable. So it's just, like I say, go in higher, go in with your second or third best offer so you get some leeway. I always say if you want $10,000, don't ask for 10, ask for 15. And then if you compromise in the middle at 12 and a half, you're both kind of, he feels like he's got a good deal, you've gotten more money than you expected, and it's a win-win for both of you.
Right. And you're not leaving money on the table either.
Exactly. Because you're probably worth the 12 and a half.
No kidding. Wow. All
Mhm.
right. So we have a deal now. Now what? We got to, check in, check to see if the client's happy, or
Yeah, it's like benchmarking in the beginning, like especially if you're like a life coach, for example, and how do you judge success? And that you need to specify up front. How do you determine success? What's the success of this project look like to you? And again, if it's a life coach and you're feeling pretty horrible, how do you feel today? And we benchmark it every month. Every month you ask on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel? How do you feel on these about your relationship on a scale of 1 to 10. Yeah,
yeah.
it's in customers. I mean, most of us want clients for life, stay in touch, because you kind of fall in love with your clients. So just treat them the way you want to be treated. Keep them informed. Never surprise. Only good surprises. If you're going to be delayed in delivering, let them know a day ahead of time and just say, hey, just don't surprise them.
Right. And yeah, because really, you've got to, here I like this statistic that it costs 5 times more to get a new customer as it does to keep an existing customer.
Yeah,
You've got to
yeah,
really work on your relationship building skills as well in the
yeah.
sales process, right?
And that's where you get referrals, which is why you don't want to deal with clients that you don't like, because you might not like their friends either. So it's have clients you like, you will like their friends.
Yeah. Yeah, and they'll be happy. Now, I just want to kind of end on, skills that you really need for sales success, all right? And get your opinion. 4 skills you need to have for sales success. So research, Patty. Do you agree?
Yep.
Yeah?
Oh, totally. Yeah, I totally agree. But I think you need 5
Okay.
skills.
All right.
You're, you're missing persistence.
Ah,
Persistence, Patty, is this key. So being shy is, but it's easy to be persistent because if you don't think that you're bothering people, you're just adding value, then you never give up until they say yes or no.
I say
And if they
never
say
give up until you get a legal letter to cease and desist,
no,
or,
restraining order.
or security, get this guy out of the building, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Um,
So I think research is knowing yourself, knowing your product, knowing your client, asking great questions, listening, presenting only what is of interest to them. You have to really actively listen. And just as an aside, for people who don't do sales training, I always say go to improv training, because improv teaches you how to actively listen and be in the moment and think quick on your feet. And that's the essential sales skills.
right. I want to go back to just real quick overcoming objections. And a method I use is, Patty, is I call it the HATS theory, right? And HAT
Okay.
stands for I hear the objection out. I used to cry under the table like a baby when I first started selling, when I heard an
Mm.
objection. And I just hear it, and now I accept it. It's like, okay. But then I understand what an objection is about, and it's really just a need that the client is sharing that they didn't know they had. So if they say,
Yep.
well, it's too pricey, well, what do they need, right? What do they need around price? So then the S in HATS stands for solve. So I ask the client to tell me what they want. what do you need in order for this deal to happen? And they'll say, well, you know, I need it instead of $2, I need it for $1.50. And then I'm in the position to say, good deal or not a good deal? Or, yeah, okay, I can do it for $1.50, but I need a check up front.
Right. Yeah.
You
That
know?
sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those on the call, I hope that helps. We're done.
Yeah.
Patti, where do we get in touch with you? Well,
all you have to Google my name, Patti Pokorchak. I'm the only Patti Pokorchak in the world, small biz sales coach. And yeah.
all right. Well, bless you. Any other questions from Beth or Leah or Martha? If you want to write them down. And Jean, do you have any other last questions?
No, I don't.
Okay. Beth says, great stuff. Thank you. And I want to thank everybody. For those on the call, this is where you reach Susan Henry at Alterna. That's her email and her phone number. And this is where you reach you, right, Jean?
Yes, that's
And you're
my
back at
email
it.
and my number.
You're back at it tomorrow?
I am.
Okay. And Beth says, thanks. Very inspiring, Patti. So way to go.
Oh, wonderful, Beth. Thanks for being part of this. It's been great.
And just, I'm going to go just back to the beginning here, Patti, so you get Patti's name if you're looking it up, because I've been known to spell it incorrectly. That's the stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, it's easy to, when you're the only Patti Pokorchak in the world, it makes life. You'll get more than enough ways to connect with me. LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. I'm on all those platforms, Google Plus, and my website. You can sign up for my 7 Secrets of Sales Success for Entrepreneurs. And yeah,
Excellent.
happy to chat.
And we're back in November, right, Jean?
We are. So I want to thank David and Patti. Very, very insightful and informative session this evening. I learned a lot. And I even mentioned active listening, and it came up in one of your top 4 skills. So fantastic. I would also like to thank our participants on the call. We like that you're truly very much engaged, and we like your questions. Great. I hope you were able to take away some important pieces that will help you to market your business. And please join us November 17th when we focus on business growth. So stay tuned for more info, and we will provide that shortly. So thanks, everyone. Have a great night. Thank you, David.
Thanks.
Thank you, Patti, again.
Thanks, everybody. Be well, everyone.
And you'll post the link for the recordings. I know some people weren't able to be on the call.
Jean, will you?
Yes, we will. We will at the end.
All right.
Okay, perfect. Great.
Cool.
Thanks so much.
Thanks. Night, everybody.
All right. Night.
Bye.
Night.